Well, the center hub is broken. We can see the bearings are still in the main blade mount. So we have to pry those bearings out. Use a straight blade screwdriver and see if you can pop them out. And then we have to get the bearing off of what's left of the center hub. Take a Phillips screwdriver and just back the screws out. Now we can pull the bearing off, set it aside. We're going to reuse those. Now we need to get the fly bar apart. Loosen up the collar, swing it in, and that'll mark our position on the fly bar so we can put it back the way it was. Take the paddles off. Use a little wrench if you can find one and a Phillips screwdriver. Loosen up the screw and pull the paddle off. Now we can take the fly bar out. There's a couple of set screws underneath. You can see where they are there. Just loosen those up about a half a turn. Pull the fly bar all the way out. Set it aside. We can see one of the control links is still on. We'll pop that off. Try to grip it with your fingernail and snap it off. The other one came off in the crash. Now we can take the paddle frame off. Check and see if the ring-like links are broken. Mine, luckily, are not. Now there's the pin that we have to take out in order to get the hub off. Grab it with the needle nose and carefully pull that out of there. There it is. Now we can pull the hub right up off the shaft. We can see that little anti-rotation bracket. That we have to reuse. We get out our new hub. It's got a little mount for the paddle frame. And if you look at it carefully, you can see it's tapered so it can slide up over the pins. So push it gently up there. One side at a time, it'll snap into place. Make sure it pivots freely, and we're all set. Take the old anti-rotation bracket, pull it off, the old hub. You can see it's got a couple little grooves that fit over the pins on the new hub. If you line it up with those pins, the hole should line up. Let's snap it in place. You can see that the hole lines up. I can put a safety pin right through. You can see the hole in the shaft that we have to hit. So we take the hub, hold on to the main gear down below so that the shaft won't rotate, and see if we can press that on there. Look through the hole. If you can't find any light, you might have to pull it off. Sometimes a bit of plastic will get stuck in the hole. You can see there I just pushed it out. Now we can try it again. Push it down and try to look through and see if you can see any light. If you can get it close, you can come along with that pin. There we go. Stick it through and just jimmy it around a little bit until you can get the pin to pass through the hole. Now with everything lined up, we can put the regular pin in place. Use a needle nose. Push it in. It's kind of a snug fit. Once that's in, the hardest part is over. We can put the bearings back on the new hub. Slide the bearing in place. These screws are a little bit hard to start, but if you keep at it, you can get them. Screw it in all the way. And of course, put one on the other side as well. Now it's time to put the paddle frame on. It goes with the set screws down. Slide it over top of the bearings. And we have to line it up then with the hole in that paddle support frame. I've almost got it lined up. There. Okay, it's through. Push the fly bar all the way through up to that collar that we put on before. Now we can loosen that collar. I like to measure and make sure the fly bar is the same length on both sides. Once the fly bar is centered, retighten those set screws. There's two, one on each side. Now we can reattach our control links. They just snap on. Don't snap it on too far. You can snap it right over the ball. You want it to ride on the ball. Let's do the other side. Control link fits inside the anti-rotation bracket. Now we can slide our collars on. Slide the paddle on. The paddle goes on with the Phillips head side of the screw to the top and the nut on the bottom. Now we'll do the other side. Once we've got those paddles on, we can turn on the transmitter and the battery and make sure that the linkages all work. Now we need to set the pitch of the paddles. I look down the end of the fly bar and look at the paddle and see if it lines up with the paddle frame. I try to get 0 degrees of pitch if I can, and try to get the same pitch on both blades. Now with the weights both out all the way to the end, one end will always be heavier. So I tighten down the light end. Okay, that end is the heavy end. Then move that collar in just a little bit until I can get the fly bar to balance nicely. It's a little bit sticky right on the end of its travel, but it balances. There we go. It'll swing a little bit freer if you don't have the control links hooked up, but then I like to double check and measure the distance out to each paddle, not to the collar but to the paddle itself. They should be the same. With the screws tight, you can spin it up and make sure you don't have any vibrations. Don't forget to tighten the screws first or the paddle will fly off. Looks like we're good to go. Now we can snap the blade assembly back in place. Just get underneath the ball bearing and on top and snap it down. You can do this without a needle nose, but it's a little bit safer with one. You're less likely to break something. Snap on one control link. I usually leave the other control link loose. That way if I crash, it's less likely to break the balls off of the blade mount. Make sure that everything spins okay. No excessive vibration. It looks good. And then a quick test hover just to make sure that everything is okay. And it looks like we're all set. The honeybee is back in the air. I hope this has been helpful. Good luck.